going to be an interesting panel, this one, because not only the reasons why we are here, but there's a interesting discussion if fintechs are competition to banks and the established market, or collaboration, or both. It depends. So I'll start with a quick question to you, Alex. I mean, is Mastercard dressing as a fintech nowadays? Why are you here?
It is interesting because Mastercard sometimes is confused as a financial company. We're actually a technology company, so I would say that we are fintech even before the fintech was coined, right? So we usually, our business is really connecting different business through technology, and it has been more than 40 years.
So you work for both sides, huh?
I do work on both sides.
Yeah, we do the same, so we cannot be we're neutral here. But what do you think, Rocco? I mean, how's for you? Even though you're more like a white label, I'd say from your mission, collaborating with banks, but how do you feel about this, competition versus collaboration thing?
Yeah, so for Option Alpha, we're a automated trading platform for retail traders. So for us, it's incredibly important for us as far as partnerships are concerned because the money stays with the brokerage or the bank that offers the trading, and then we sit on top of that from an automation perspective and provide that solution to their providers, and then we share the customer. So for us, partnerships are really important. Where we run into trouble is we have complex strategies that most 90% of APIs don't support from the banking side. The downside of that is, we can't scale past certain brokerage partners. Luckily, TD Ameritrade has the lion's share of our customers, so we're pretty busy there. But there's plenty of traders asking for our technology, but we just can't provide it to their brokerage because they don't have the technology to support us.
And Esteban, I mean, in Latin America, you're coming from Latin America, and in Latin America, we are seeing a big fight because it's not, of course, the actual banking market, but also the unbanked, which, as you know, as we all know, it's about 50% overall. So how do you think about that?
Well, actually, Latin America banking ecosystem is growing. Actually, there's a huge opportunity, as you were saying, to pursue more business with other types of customers that are not in the banking system right now. Not only in South America, but also more north, like Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico even. And there's a huge opportunity for banks that want to get those customers. But those customers usually don't go through the usual channels. You have to go into new channels to reach those customers. Many of those can be millennials. Many of those can be people that just use their cell phones to do things, and they don't want to go to a brick and mortar agency to do things. So basically, there's a big challenge in South America to get those people into the system, and you have to be innovative and think outside the box to get those people into the banking system.
So quick survey here. Who's coming from banks? Okay, maybe roughly 15%. Fintechs? Okay, a little bit less. Who really thinks Apple Pay here in the US, I mean, the bank subscribing to Apple Pay was a mistake for the industry? Who? No one? One, maybe. Okay. So, we've seen in Latin America a lot of cases of collaboration. Anyone coming to mind successfully?
Collaboration?
Yeah, between fintech and banks.
Yeah, I can actually give a few examples, right? So when when you look at the ecosystem in Brazil, Mexico, you see a very strong collaboration between banks, fintechs, sometimes even the regulator, right? So we are trying to also explore innovation. We have a program at Mastercard that's called StarPath, right? So it is a program where we source startups all over the world in a way that we can help them grow, we can train them, we can give access to resources, right? In a way that can connect them to different banks. One example in Latin America is Civico, right? So it's one of the StarPath graduates that work in Mexico, in Colombia, in other countries as well.
Okay, cool. And from the trading perspective, do you see collaboration? Like, are you helping banks getting the trading offerings to their customers easily with like you guys?
Yes and no. So
yes and no?
Yeah, where you see it happening is in the same exact legacy style technology that everyone is accustomed to. Even new entrants on the startup side, like Robinhood, for example, they're going after fees, but the technology's still very basic. It's just buy and sell of equities, options, et cetera. Where TD came in with us and said, we know automation is the future of trading because look at all the banks, look at hedge funds, what are they using? They've been using automation since the 70s when retail hasn't had this type of technology. So they spent a year building us an API and ensuring that we were one-to-one as far as execution is concerned with their platform. So the customer or the client on that end, if they're working out of both graphical user interfaces, so if they're using Thinkorswim and our platform at the same time, they're not going to see a difference, right? And that's important to traders. So from our side, that has been a great benefit for us because now we have direct access to TD. So you see it on that end. But outside of that, we run into a lot of issues. So what you're finding is you'll have somebody come in being the third-party API for multiple banks, right, or brokerages. So there's a company called Trade.it, and they're focused on solving that problem for banks, right? So, but for the banks now they have two intermediaries that are in front of the customer, which if I was the owner of that customer as a bank, I would be concerned with. Because at the end of the day, whoever owns that graphical user interface and that experience for the customer is going to own the customer long term. So.
And Esteban, you provide origination technology for banks, again in a white label situation, so clearly a collaborative environment there. But how do you get banks to trust on you, given the fact that the experience is a very important thing? How's that?
That's a good question. Actually, we partner with the banks. Okay, so basically when we are talking to a bank and they tell us that they want to go online and grant online loans and automated loans as we do, as our platform allows them to do, the talks always or sometimes go into how long it would take them to develop that. It should be something tailored from the IT guys inside the bank. It's not their core business, and they should go with somebody, if us or others, that do that for a living, and they should have that already tested and already that had already been successful with another customers. So basically, time to market there is essential. Okay, so what we try to do is to partner with them, and also we don't want just to be a provider, a software provider, or a service provider for them. We want to go further. Okay, and that's why we talk that we get partnerships with our banks. Okay, so basically our business model is that if they do well, we do well. So basically we just do our best, the best we can to make them successful, and if they're successful, we'll be successful as well. So basically it's just like a partnership with them.
Right. So going back to the competition thing, because I think we should be able to characterize fintechs in like B2B or B2C type of thing, or white label versus market direct. And to me, market direct ones are clearly competition. I mean, both you and I serve both, but at a certain point, the big fintechs, the one that gain size, are realizing that something that banks already know from many years, which is that it's very difficult to live just from one product. You need to cross-sell, you need to fill spaces, you need to be able to get margins and commissions on different things to generate a business.